everyone. Welcome to Empowering You with Cynthia Fontaine. If this is your first time here, thank you so much for tuning in. And if you have seen my other shows, I appreciate you being here again. Thank you so very much. Oh my gosh, this year is going by so quickly. And so I'm going to do the show in sort of a time segment where I'm going to talk about some things that are currently going on, and then I'm going to talk about things that are evergreen that you can use anytime, no matter if it's today when you're seeing this new episode in 2025, or if it's December 2026, it won't matter, okay? So I like to give really practical tools that you can use in your everyday life to help you when times are both good and when times are both stressful. Boy, are we in one of those times that are really stressful, right? And so the best thing that we can do when we're unsure of the world around us and we are taking everything in is, number one, take a break, right? Because sometimes with all the information that we have coming at us, it's a good idea to filter some of that information and not let everything come in. Now, if you have found this show, you probably are sensitive, you're probably an empath, you are probably intuitive, you may be a healer, you may be into metaphysics, but by finding this show really means that you are a bit woo, okay? And woo isn't a scary thing. It's actually can be a very practical thing. And I'm going to talk about some of the practicalities today. I'm going to give you some tips on how to avoid the pitfalls in the woo as well. So that'll be a little bit later. Right now, what I want to talk about is current, right? And what's going on currently, and how do you sort of manage things when times are chaotic. Now, this can be when the world around you seems chaotic, or it can be just in your personal life if things are chaotic. Because look, we're humans and we all have stuff that we go through. And it can be if you're going through an illness or a divorce, or you have lost a job, or you're moving, or someone in the family is unwell. Those times are very stressful. And then you add the layer of what's going on around you in your communities, in your states, in your in the country, in the world, and that's a whole nother level of what can be stressful as well. And so this actually week coming up, if you see this show, the last week of February, sorry, not the last week of February, but going into the last week of February. Today is February 19th. So if you see this show before the end of February, this is applicable to this last section of February, okay? We are coming up astrologically to a week that is all systems go. Every planet is going to be moving forward. There will be no planets in retrograde, and all systems go. And why I want to share this particularly is because this next week we have a new moon coming, and it is a perfect time for you to write down your dreams and your desires of what you would like to see for yourself in the next month, in the next 6 months, in the next year. Write your dreams down. Get it on paper and write it in your own handwriting, because when the brain, it triggers something in the brain, the handwriting to the brain, that signals it to be true. When you type it on a keyboard, you don't get that same brain synapses. You don't get that same connection. So write it on paper. And with this new moon coming up in this next week, with all planets to go, all planets forward, all planets go, Mars is coming out of its retrograde, Mercury will not be in retrograde, Venus will not be in retrograde. You want to set some dreams and desires for this next year coming up. The new moon is great for that by itself, but because the astrology is really clear, get clear about what you want and set that forward in motion. Try something new. Also, this is a really good time the next 2 weeks to try something new, something you've never done before. When I want to learn something new, I will often, if it's something that's heady, so for example, I studied AI for 15 months, which is, really brainiac stuff, and you have to really focus, and it's sort of linear thinking. While I was studying that, I was also learning needle felting and learning how to craft and learning new things that way. And same if you want to learn how to boost your intuition or how to connect to your intuition, because we all have it. And sometimes you will hear me say that in psychic intuition or just psychic, I use the two interchangeably, although people who are purists would argue with me on that, because psychic comes through the top 3 chakras, intuition comes through the bottom 3 chakras. The two meet in the heart in the middle and form this beautiful synchronicity. And we will talk about chakras in depth in a future show, but just know that chakras are based on Eastern medicine, and they are spinning wheels of energy. We all have them. Sometimes they're open, sometimes they're closed. They're supposed to do that, open and close. And again, so intuition comes through the bottom. It's that visceral, it's the gut feeling. It's in your gut when like you get that feeling. Like, for example, I'll give you an example. Last weekend, I had plans to go out, and I kept having this feeling that, no, don't go out, stay home. But I had plans with a friend I didn't want to disappoint, and so I went. And I have a friend's car right now. He has my car. He's fixing it. And I got into his car, and I didn't realize that the button that I thought was the light was for the sunroof. And I pressed the button for the sunroof, and we had a storm before that. And even though the car was cleared off, there must have been some ice or something, or just because the components inside the sunroof were plastic, when I went to close it, the sunroof broke. Now, had I listened to my intuition and stayed home, the sunroof obviously wouldn't have broken. And when I went out the next day in the car, I could have clearly seen in the daylight, that was the sunroof button. So I have in the past so many times when I don't follow that gut feeling, when I don't follow that inner knowing, there's always a problem. So tune in and learn how to find your inner knowing, your intuition. I do this thing called your truth meter. And how you do this, and you can do this at home, you can do this along with me while you're watching the show, and I encourage you to practice, because sometimes it takes a few times to get it, right? So what you do is you sit or stand quietly, and you take a couple of deep breaths, and then you say your name. My name is Cynthia Fontaine. And then you check in with your body and notice the sensations, right? Do you feel an area that feels smooth? Do you feel an area that feels tingly? Do you feel an area that feels tight? When you have a really good sense overall of what your body feels like, and look for the smallest sensations, then you take a breath, clear it out, and then you say someone else's name that's not yours. Right? And so you'll say, my name is, just pick a name, Ronald McDonald. Okay? And then you tune into your body again and notice where it feels different, because we have a built-in truth meter. And so when you get really clear about where the name shows up, where it's not, you might get a tension in your neck, you might get a bubbly tummy, you might get tension or tightness in your throat, you might get tingles. then you'll know when something is for you and something is not for you. So I could have used the inner truth meter to ask myself, is it my highest and best good to go out today, or is it in my highest and best good to stay home? Now, would I have chosen to stay home? Probably not, because I didn't want to let my friend down. But at the same time, had I listened to my intuition, it happens every single time when I don't listen, something goes awry. So find your inner truth meter. And there's so much information out there about how you can learn to tune into your intuition. And, go check out my social media so you can find out more information for yourself. I really encourage you to do that. So before the show, I actually pulled a couple of cards and I asked Spirit, what does everyone need to know? What would benefit for everyone to know at this particular time in history? Because we are going through a time in history like no other. And you've chosen to be here, just like I've chosen to be here. And many of us have chosen to be here as light workers. And so we need to have every resource we can to help us stay grounded, also connected to spirit, so that we can help others as we go through this. Is going to be a very chaotic time. There will be some really wonderful things that happen over this next period of 2 years, but there's going to be a lot of challenging things that happen over the next 2 years, especially. Now, I don't want to freak anybody out, but I like to give facts and I like to give knowledge to support you. Because when you know what to prepare for, then you can prepare well. If you have no idea and you're caught off guard, then things don't go as smoothly as they possibly could. Okay, so astrologically this year, we are set up to be a precursor for next year. This year is going to be pretty bumpy. Next year is going to be even bumpier astrologically. Okay, so when I asked, again, about what is the best for you all to know, because we have two timelines that we're working on right now, and that's the timeline we're seeing, or two energies that we're working with right now. And there's the energy of unity and peace, and there's the energy of division, divisiveness, and hatred. And so which timeline do you want to be on, or which energy field do you want to be in? Because it's so important this year to get really clear about which energy field you want to be in moving forward, because that is going to set your basis and your tone for next year, okay? And so I recommend that you go into the timeline of love and unity and community. That's going to be the best place for most people to be who are of like mind and have that community and working together energy or want to do that, okay? Because it's going to be important that we come into community and we find communities so that we can get through this crazy period of time. Okay, so what do you need to know and what will help you? So this card is from Colette Baron Reed's Hidden Realms deck, Wisdom of the Hidden Realms. And I go to this deck when I want to know what's hidden beneath the surface, okay? And the card that came out of the deck was Hawk Prince. And this is about spirit communication, okay? Now, spirit communication is what it sounds like. It's your connection with the divine, whatever that means to you. I was brought up in the Catholic Church, which I am so grateful for because it gave me a really great foundation of a belief in something bigger than me. And at the same time, when I was 15, I started exploring other religions and other mindsets and ways that are around the world that were different than what I grew up in. And what I've discovered is that religion was the first form of government, and it's really sort of to keep order. But when you take away all the dogma And if you just break it down to the very, very, very fine tenets, they all say the same thing. Basically, it's love yourself, love your neighbor, do good in the world, and go home. And if we just follow that motto, that would be all that we need. Okay. Now, the second card that I chose out of the deck, or that came out of the deck, is Horse King. And this is about having assistance. So putting the two together, what do we need to know? What can help us over this next year, this next 2 years, and this tumultuous time is spirit communication, connecting with spirit, with the higher, with the source, with the divine, with God, with whatever it means for you. It could be universal energy, life force, and that you'll have assistance to get through this time. So I thought those cards were really well timed and really helpful in this time. So part of my big mission, now sort of going to an overview of that's timeless, part of my big mission is to help everyday people to learn how to seek guidance in the world that I'm in, the world of woo, and do it in a way that is really beneficial for you, because I don't ever want to give your power away. Hence the show Empowering You, right? I want to empower you so that you can live your best life where you're in control, making decisions for yourself with some guidance. So I want you come. So here's a funny thing that it's not actually funny. Here's something interesting that happened over the weekend. I had a friend reach out and she said, "Oh my gosh," she said, "can you check to see if I have been whammied with witchcraft, because I was talking to someone on TikTok who is a psychic, who said that I had a witchcraft curse over me." Well, it's very sadly, there are charlatans in this profession, just like there are in every profession out there. There are grifters who will tell you things to suck you in, so take your money and take your power away from you. So I checked to see through a process that I have been certified in, and it's professional clearing, and she was completely fine. In fact, she was more than fine. Her energy was very high. You can tell that she meditates regularly by her energy measurement and everything. And I will show you that in a show down the road. How to do the energy measurement and everything. And she was perfectly fine. And she was so glad that she reached out to me to know that, because she was ready to plunk down some money and give it to this person to clear this off of her, when in fact she didn't have it. So here's a really helpful tip. If you go to someone, whether they read cards, they do astrology, they're a psychic, they're intuitive, they're a healer, and they say to you, "Oh, you have a curse on you," or "you have black magic," or "you have witchcraft." Do those things exist in the world? Yes, they do. But does everybody have it? No, they don't. There are times when people do have those things attached to them, and then you work with somebody who is a professional clearer to clear those things out. And in my brought up in the Catholic religion, you could get a priest to do those things, and so that's another alternative, right? So if somebody tells you something like that, run away quickly. Don't go back. Don't give them any money. I had someone say to me who didn't know I was a psychic 30 years ago. This was somebody who worked in the town that where I delivered mail, because in a past life, in this lifetime, I was a letter carrier and delivered mail for 26 years. And this person did palm reading, but she actually couldn't read palms. And she admitted this to me when I sort of became a little bit friendly with her, but then I backed off because I realized that she was one of those people who was grifting people, okay? And she said to me, "Oh, you have a curse. Bring me a sock, a bar of soap, and $200, and I will remove the curse." If you ever hear something like that, run away. And you might even want to file a complaint. You will never find a professional do that. Now, again, there are times when we can pick up things, but somebody who's professional will say, look, this is what's going on. I'm going to give you some things that can help you clear it. And then if that doesn't work, then come back and we'll work on it. Okay? So just a little quick tip there. Now, another thing that you can do when this isn't just when times are difficult. I really encourage you to connect in with something higher than you, a higher source, spirit, angels. Over 75% of Americans believe in angels. You may be one of them. Connect in with your angels and your spirit guides. We all have them. I use spirit guides and angels sometimes interchangeably. The difference is spirit guides have had an incarnation in the physical body. Angels have not. They have always been spirit and never a physical incarnation. So connect in with them. Learn how to meditate. Go out for walks in nature. You'd be surprised how a walk in nature with no phone, no distractions, just being in nature and taking it in can shift your energy and connect you in to the universe, to all that is. Because there's a universal life force that holds everything together. And I don't remember how many years back, but NASA actually saw or photographed this fabric around the earth and fabric that weaves throughout the universe that the Buddhists have been talking about for thousands and thousands of years. The fabric that connects everything in the universe. And that was really a cool discovery when NASA was able to photograph that fabric. And it looks like fabric. It's woven fabric. It's like these big squares, and it's this big sort of piece of fabric. So science is going to move so rapidly, and we're going to see more things like that coming out, where science will prove things that Buddhists and ancient cultures have talked about in history for tens of hundreds of years and thousands of years. And so it's a very exciting time in that realm. Science is going to advance so quickly. Medicine is going to advance quickly now that we are fully into the age of Aquarius. And so those are some really great things that we have to look forward to as we move in further into the age of Aquarius and out of the Iron Age and out of the masculine age. Now, when we're going through a big time shift, it's uncomfortable. It's really uncomfortable. And with the astrology, again, this year that we have going on, where all 6 of the big outer planets line up later this year and hit a world point in astrology. And if you want to learn more about that, I recommend you go check out Pam Gregory on YouTube. She's a fabulous astrologer who I absolutely adore. She talks a lot about this, and that can give you a lot of great information to navigate these times. And so we're almost out of time, and I can't believe that the half an hour has gone so fast. So I want to leave you with another really great tip to be able to get through this time. So we've talked about finding community, getting it together with like-minded people, right? We've talked about getting out in nature, and I love to walk barefoot. And, make sure that you're in a safe area that you can do that. I will even take my shoes off in the winter, even though the ground is freezing, and stand out there for a minute, sometimes even 2 minutes, to ground myself, because grounding is really priceless. You can take salt baths if you're feeling overwhelmed. Turn off the TV, turn off the news, Get away from it for a while. Nothing's that you need to know about is going to happen. It is so drastically or instantly, and if it does, you will know about it. It will be brought to your attention. Trust me. And so turn it off. Stop the doom scrolling, and have some fun. Laughter and having fun can change your life, your attitude, your energy in an instant. We want to be sure that we are more on the side of the energy line of the community and the love and the abundance and fun, rather than the side of division, anger, hostility, and so forth. You choose, right? Whichever line you choose. Again, if you're watching this show, there's probably a really good chance that you're on the more holistic side of things, if you will, and more inclusive, and you're into abundance and loving kindness and things like that. So I applaud you for that, and keep on going. Don't let the world get you so far down that you lose the light within yourself, because it's that light now that really needs to come out and shine brightly. And even if that light just lights the way for one person who's struggling, then you have made a difference in the world. Not everybody's meant to be on a world stage or be in front of a TV camera reaching a bigger audience, but maybe you are, and maybe you're that person that is meant to reach one person at a time. You can make a difference in the world. You take care of you first. Make sure your light is turned on and it's shining, and you do that again through meditation, through community, through like-minded people. A great mentor also can help guide, getting guidance of how to navigate things in your life, whether it's through oracle cards or, if you work with somebody, that's great as well. Make sure that they are really good, that they're accurate, and that you don't want to work with somebody who is not the best that you can possibly work with. Oh, we have 40 seconds left. Thank you so much for tuning in. I want to thank the crew for being here. Couldn't do this without them. And community is so important. I want to thank the viewers. I want to thank you. If you like the show, please share it with your friends. You can do that through YouTube, because you will find this show on YouTube as well. Share it with your friends. Like the show. Follow me on social media for more information about things that we're talking about. And I appreciate you for being here and for tuning in. Till next time, bye for now.
Adoption Rhode Island is a private nonprofit organization dedicated to improving outcomes for children, youth, and young adults in foster care by finding families or other permanent connections. We also provide support service, counseling services for this population. If you're interested in learning more about adoption from foster care or about our support services, please contact us at 401-865-6000 or visit our website at adoptionri.org.